Okay, here I've got my Walrus man with the Imperial Stormtrooper I got recently, and they're both interesting in that I can compare the UK equivalent of the US Return of the Jedi card. The Snowtroopers on a US card, it's been graded by the AFA, which is US, whereas the Walrus man's on a PALITOY card, UK, and it's been graded by the British equivalent, the UK graders. So both, as you can see, have both got clear bubbles, and on Kenner cards there's a tendency for the bubbles to turn yellow, which is a bummer. Okay, so both the US card is a 48 back, which is the first Return of the Jedi release by Kenner, and the PALITOY is a 45 back, which is the UK's equivalent. The 45 back shows the first 45 figures that were available in the UK, plus it's got Return of the Jedi logo, and you can see the differences and similarities between the two cards. Both have the Jedi logo, both have the same sort of name tag. Kenner has its symbol there. PALITOY by then had gotten rid of the PALITOY logo, which is a real shame because any card with the PALITOY logo is worth a lot of money. This card has on the front a imprint which says you can get the free NIEN NUNB, whereas the UK card doesn't have that. The bubble on the UK card is massive, whereas the bubble on the Kenner card is much more specific for the size of the figure. Okay, the grading, the AFA grading is card 80, bubble 85, figure 85, and the UK grading is 85, 85, 85. Okay, so AFA is probably the better grading service. They're probably a bit more rigorous than the UK graders. This one hasn't got a top bar at the top, so this card actually moves inside the case a little bit, which sucks. I think they just forgot at the UK graders to do that. But the cases are pretty similar, and the UK grading is almost as good as AFA grading, I'd say. But most stuff you come across is going to be AFA graded. But if you live in the UK, it's a lot cheaper to send it to UK graders. That's the early UK grading type of sticker they use. They've gone to something a bit more colourless, and they've stopped doing the rarity factor. Okay, and then if we look at the backs of the cards, we can see that the offer for NIEN NUNB, both have it there. The US card has a picture of NIEN NUNB, the figure you'd get, whereas the UK just has a black and white bottom half. The three figures that this UK card doesn't show are the later release Zuckuss Forlum and the TIE Fighter pilot. That's why the UK card only has 45 figures. The figures are arranged differently as well. That Luke on the US card has brown hair, whereas the Luke Farm Boy has yellow hair on this card, and the Bespin Luke on the US card has brown hair, and the UK card has a yellow hair. So there's slight differences there, nothing major. Okay, so the US card has a proof of purchase there. That's what you're meant to cut out in the US. In the UK we cut out the what did we cut out? The name tags. But you could both get the same offer. In the UK you had to send in 6 name tags, and the US you had to send in 5 name tags, proof of purchases. So, and in the UK we had to send in a first class envelope as well. So to get the figure it was slightly more expensive in the UK because you had to send in an extra figure name, and you had to send in a first class stamp offer. So even back then we were paying more. Alright, so that's the UK 48 back, 45 back, and that's a US 48 back. Both are graded, so you can see the differences and similarities. Both are Return of the Jedi issue, first Return of the Jedi issue, and These are the most common type of cards you're going to find, the US Kenner cards and then the UK Palitoy cards. There's your Snow Trooper front, and there's your Walrus Man UK Palitoy front. Both very nice, and I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the differences and similarities between the UK and US release and the UK and US grading as well. Okay, I prefer myself Palitoy cards any day, but I like the Stormtrooper on the Kenner cards because actually the Palitoy Snowtrooper is more common. So it's actually rarer to get the Stormtrooper in HOTH battle gear on a US card than on a really common Palitoy card. And the Walrus Man he's also really common on the Palitoy card. So if you're going to get these two figures carded vintage on Jedi cards, the most common version would be the Palitoy version. Okay, so time for me to stop babbling on and on and on. Okay, cheers, bye.